is 8:12 this morning. If you have an unemployed spouse or a significant other, you know how stressful it can be on your relationship. And this morning we have some tips so it can help you guys both get through the process and this loss together. Back this morning is communication and leadership expert Mary Jane Mapes with us. Thank you for being back. We appreciate it.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So this is obviously very common. I mean, Michigan's unemployment rate is one of the highest, if not the highest right now in the country. And a lot of people have already gone through this. So what's the first plan, or what's the first conversation that you need to have with your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, if this does happen to you guys?
Well, I think we can actually take a tip, Sarah, from the football season.
Okay.
Because this is football playoff time, as you know, and football teams always have a playbook filled with plays that they can pull out, whatever the situation calls for. Well, whether I'm speaking to a corporate leadership team or I'm talking to a family team, which is what I see a husband and wife being, and especially during time of unemployment, that it's important for them, too, to create a playbook. Only their playbook would look a little different. They may include things like, how are we going to handle this job hunt? How are we going to deal with the stressors and the challenges that are bound to be inevitable during this period of time? How are we going to divvy up the duties and responsibilities? Maybe what are we going to need to sacrifice? And of course, one thing you want to be sure to add on that is people want to be sure to add things like, how are we going to maintain fun? I mean, there's got to be family fun, there's got to be spouse fun. How are we going to do that? Because we don't want to lose that sense of fun, which is so important.
And it starts with an ACT, and you have an acronym that really makes sense. And A for first is an attitude that promotes positive action.
Yes, and as we all know, attitude is everything. And to me, attitude that promotes positive action is different than what I would call unrealistic positive thinking. Okay. So as the supportive spouse, it would be important to help your spouse, the unemployed one, accept the fact that they are unemployed. Like, accept that this is the way it is. But also encourage them to have faith in the future, that this is a temporary situation. It doesn't say anything about who they are. It says everything about the fact that this is just current reality, and current reality is always subject to change. Okay. It's kind of an attitude that says, given the facts, what is it that we can do to continue to move forward?
Okay, and once we have that attitude, C stands for communication.
Yeah, well, we're both in communication, so we know it's so important. But to me, communication here would be doing a daily debrief, not what did you do today, because that can be threatening, it can be accusatory, it can feel horrible, especially if a person is unemployed for a long time. But questions like, so what happened today? So that kind of opens up to a variety of responses. What went well? What didn't go so well? What do we maybe need to do differently tomorrow? What could I do to help you, or maybe to make a difference so that we continue to move forward?
Okay.
The key is communication really is the thing that eases the tension.
And then T stands for target, and that's so important. Keep your eye on the ball, keep your eye on the target.
Exactly. Because when your eye's on the target, we find what we focus on. You have your eye on the target. What happens is our mind begins to create a little mental map that creates steps to get us there. It keeps us in action. Do you have time for a quick analogy?
Very quick.
Very quick. Well, found a book in the bookstore, Thin Thighs, 30 Days, said, whoop, that's the book for me, took it home, threw it in the drawer, didn't look at it for about 30 days. At the end, pulled it out of the drawer, looked at the book, looked at my thighs and said, whoop, these thighs haven't changed a bit. But I'd wished for thin thighs. Well, Carl Sandburg said, wishes won't wash the dishes. It's action that will do it. So when you help your spouse keep their eye on the target, you keep them in action, give them some sense of control over their own life. And that's so important when you're looking to support your unemployed spouse.
And hopefully they end up with a job.
Yes.
All right, Mary Jane, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Great tips there. It is 8:15 right now. We'll have the information